Hello, hi, that's right, it's me, the Bald Guy, and welcome back to Dyson's video program to yet another abandoned landmass. This seems to be becoming a recurring pattern today. Last time, we learned all about towers and tower accessories, these big lads over here. Now, we also went to another planet. We went over to John Hall, which is this planet over here, and produced up a bunch of titanium, right? We haven't yet had the ability to ship that titanium back here, but we are going to be getting into that today. In fact, that's the goal for this episode. We are going to be learning how yellow science is made, researching all of these various bits and pieces, all of the little things that put together to make the blue and red science as viable as possible. Basically, I want to go through and use towers to build every single build that we can build at the moment, all of the little components and resources. However, I am not going to make you sit through it all. This is all something I've done before in my previous series, and it's basically just going to be me going, oh, well, we need to make more electromagnetic turbines. That's a 2-in-1-out recipe. Well, good thing in a previous series, the one you're supposed to watch, I made a 2-in-1-out recipe. Oh man, good golly gosh, what incredible gameplay. I will spare you this fate. Instead, we are going to fly over towards the mall and talk about something new. These things over here are drones, okay? These are tools that we can use to fight against the fog. Thank you for the structure matrix, very cool, that's the next tier of science. If you want to take a drone, right, this is the prototype ones, you take them, you stick them in your hangar, and then they will be deployed as part of your fleet. You can see I got 6 of them in my inventory already. We are working towards the next level, which is the precision drone, which is made using the photon combiners. This resource is brought on the bus, which will be on this line over here, and where does it come from now? That's right, it comes from towers. In fact, you'll see the whole planet has a little bit of a pincushion vibe going on. I went through and I swapped out every single build to be part of a tower network now. So the whole planet's resources are now shared between all logistics networks. It's a much more efficient way of doing things. So as you can see, these towers now will import ores, right? Like for example on this one, here we go, we're bringing in some iron. We're also sending out some oil, just because there was an oil well nearby. That iron is then fed into these machines, which turn it into plates and magnets, which then is fed into the network. And then that's fed out from those machines into these ones. This is all the stuff we built in episodes 2 and 3. It's nothing too fancy, but it does get the job done, right? I do not want to bore you with the details, but I will show the builds as we plunk them down. I think it's really interesting to make that into a bit of a time lapse. So Magic, you know what time it is. Go, go, gadget, tower lapse. Okay, one thing I do need to discuss really quickly before we get into the time lapse. Hold on, pause the brakes on that one. We need to make structure matrix today, which is diamonds and high strength crystals, right? High strength crystals have been unlocked. They are made using organic crystals and titanium. We make titanium, we do not yet make organic crystals. Organic crystals are made using plastic, refined oil, and water. We do make the latter two, we don't make the plastic just yet. However, we can also make it using wood, foliage, and water, which we could farm from the fog. Which is actually kind of an interesting concept, don't you think? I'm tempted to turn these back on and then just have a tiny little crystal build that just uses fog values to build it. But it's also going to affect the other planets we're working on. So while you could definitely make organic crystal using the alternative recipe here, I'm not going to, just because I know it's going to be a nightmare to filter on every other planet I go to. So instead, let's go ahead and put down a plastic build. And that's plastics. Let's turn it on. Next up is organic crystals. Let's turn it on. Next up is titanium crystals. That's going to be a pretty beefy one. There we go, first titanium crystals are flowing through. Real bottleneck's gonna be speed here. Let's double this up. Alright, then we can turn all of that into science. Just that easy. Yellow science getting made. Oh, we don't make diamonds though. Okay, not quite that easy. Still missing a piece of the puzzle here. Next up is diamond. But we don't need that much diamond. Alright, yellow science is being made. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get that imported at the poles so we can start getting some of the upgrades. And I think we're going to want to store 2,000 science. 5,000 was too much. The first researches we're going to tackle are going to be the mech upgrades. Give me more energy and give me faster energy speed. Okay, so yellow science is functional. We're currently working our way through every upgrade known to Mecha. We have quite a lot left to do, to be completely honest. Yellow science is flowing well, but it will bottom out eventually because our reserve of refined oil will bottom out. Got about 23,000 oil in reserve before this zeroes out, because this cannot produce fast enough, right, to support all of those machines. No. We need to upgrade. We need to get down more oil refining. It's the only way to keep the science sped up like this. But we've also got some other stuff we have to do. I have so many resources now that are not on the network, including things like prisms and the supermagnetic rings, the plasma exciters, the photon combiners. I need to go through and stamp down builds for all of these, and then and only then can we continue on to the next phase. So I'm going to go left to right and stamp these down as I see fit. First up is going to be, we're going to skip proliferator for now. First up will be missiles. Okay, next up is going to be magnetic coils. In fact, we're going to do the entire chain here. We're going to make magnetic coils, couple builds for itself, right? Just for magnetic coil supply for other machines and whatnot. Then we're going to need to make electric motors, which require magnetic coils. So we're going to make a magnetic coil build that just makes the electric motors. So that's got 2 of these, 1 of these. Then we need to make electromagnetic turbines, which require electric motors and magnetic coils. So we're going to make 1 of these with another 2 of these, so totaling 3, and another 2 of these, so totaling 4. So we're at 4, 3, 1. Then you, oh my goodness, here we go. You are going to require electric magnetic turbines, rings, and of course, energetic graphite, which means that we're going to need 1 of these, which requires 1 of these, which requires 2 of these, which requires 3 of these. So I think we're probably going to build 6 magnetic coils, 3 electric motors, 2 electromagnetic turbines, and 1 supermagnetic ring build. Let's go and stamp that all down. I'm going to need like an entire hemisphere of this planet to do this, aren't I? I think we move away from the fog and we do that over there. Alright, fantastic. There we go. We've done them all. Okay, so we have got a whole bunch of stuff being made here. We got the supermagnetic rings, we got the electric motors, we got the electromagnetic turbines, we have got the electric coils. Okay, magnetic coils, that's what they're called. We've completely and entirely bottomed out on magnets, and we are pretty much out of copper as well. We cannot possibly support industry at this scale on this planet, but we knew that going in, right? Like, we knew we were going to be chasing bottlenecks. We will be stealing a whole bunch of supplies from the fog over here. In fact, we're at the point where having regular iron and copper drops would be pretty helpful. I'm now also aware of the fact that just having those drops enabled does not take away from your other drops, right? It doesn't mean that like turning this off doesn't mean you get more titanium. It just means that you get less overall resources. You are filtered for these. You are filtered for these. Is no one here filtered for iron? Is that the problem? Yeah, I have a feeling that no one here is going to be filtered for iron. We got 2 for copper. This one should be iron. There we go. And suddenly the fog farm is doing something again. Oh, we can also start working on drone upgrades now, which would be pretty damn handy. And some more vein utilization. Yeah, that's definitely got to go up there. Maybe that goes first. Alright, so everything there's been made. We now need to make photon combiners. Another 2 in, 1 out. Okay, photon combiners getting made. Something else we can make right now would be... Let's go down the list here. We could probably make some engines. Engines seem like a good idea. We're going to want these, and we're going to want these. Okay, next up is particle containers. Easy peasy. Alright, then we make advanced thrusters, which we can't actually make just yet. These, we don't have the titanium we require, but these are basically just used to make interstellar logistics bots, so I don't have to make much of them. And we'll just store up a little bit of the resources they require. We will have to come back and get the titanium on the network here. Can I go ahead and get that research now, just so I can queue it up real quick? Should be able to. There it is. And I actually have a specialized build for this. There we go, the titanium alloy smelter. But we don't need that much, that's too much. We simply will not ever possibly sustain that. Instead, we grab the tower builds, we go to tower smelting, And we get the more reasonable one, this one here. Okay, it's still a lot, but it's nowhere near as absolutely insane as the other one is. And I think we can fit this... yeah, over there. Over there. And they can demand. Perfect, there it is. And let's set the recipe. Are we out of titanium already? Oh my goodness, we are. We're completely out. I wonder what was using all of it. Oh, it strikes me that we have copper ore, but no copper plates or iron plates. That means that I know exactly what we're missing. We need to do some serious smelting. Now, the power grid is going to collapse, but you know what? I'm used to living with load shedding. I'm South African, goddammit.
Inky, binky, bonky, who's not gonna have electricity tonight? Cape Town?
Alright, this will be iron, that will be copper, we're going to get a whole bunch in. This one over here is going to, of course, demand iron as well, because that's going to make me magnetic rings. And I only have a whole bunch of blueprints, of recipes to paste here, but that is the basic premise. We now produce everything in very large numbers on the tower network. I think the only exception to that rule is steel at this point, which we will get to in a second. But yeah, power is definitely becoming a concern, so it's time to start building our Dyson swarm. And that's steel too. Okay, cool. All the basic resources are now handled. We're doing stone and glass elsewhere, which means we can now begin to expand the mall.
4 to 6 days later.
And voila, this nightmare tangle over there, that's our mall upgrade. We now make all the buildings that were unlocked by Yellow Science, at least almost all of them, right? We've got access to these lads over here, the ray receivers. These will collect solar light from our Dyson swarm, which we're going to be continuing to build. We've got our energy exchanges, those can charge and discharge batteries. We've got the rail guns, which can shoot solar sails into orbit. We've got planetary shields. In fact, I'm going to take some of those so we can play around with them. We've got towers, making interstellar towers. Ooh, exciting. In fact, let me take the double stack there. We've got the geothermal generators, despite not having any lava on this planet. Thought it might just be handy to make some. And of course, we've got the automatic pilers and the laser turrets. Those are something I'm really keen to try out. But our power grid is kind of on the red line here, so it's not exactly like we've got a lot of space. I'd stepped out an additional tower up here because a lot of these things will have like one raw resource as an input, which is just a bit awkward. We are basically completely out of silicon. It's just not coming through fast enough, or even at all in some cases. Right now, the fog is by far and away our best silicon farm, but we got a little bit of a problem, which is that we are starting to be attacked again. And that's because the power consumption has jumped up so much that they are beginning to target us. Now, I did put down a few additional builds just to fill out the roster of all the stuff we're making here. Basically, I've got some reinforced thrusters and interstellar logistics vessels being made. Not yet making the solar sails or the hydrogen fuel rods. That one I want to do together. But I have been sort of in the background just making some of the background stuff so that we can just put things down and start playing, right? So this is a bit of a concern. As you can see, that was the farm. Now the farm's over here because they kept spawning in and attacking all this stuff. And I think it's because we've moved forward so much with a lot of this. This wasn't a problem earlier. It appears to be a problem now. So our farm's all messed up, which makes me kind of want to just tear it down since we can now go Interplanetary anyway and bring resources from other worlds. So I think it's time we take the offensive to the fog and wipe them out. Now, as we know... oh, these are all my drones. Yes, there we go. Now, as... oh, I'm going to get shot. Whoopsie. Now, as we know, we have quite a large number of missiles stored up. In fact, I think they're like right over here or something. Yeah, right over there. 5,000 missiles. Let's put them to use, and let's try these out. Now, the planetary shield generators will not protect us from the surface. Sorry, they will not protect us from the surface attacks. They'll only protect us from space attacks, but that's okay. So let's grab some of these. Put these down right over there. They will need some juice, of course. And then we'll feed some missiles through them. And I gotta rotate these, don't I? Yep. Ah, yes, our logistics slots are also now being used as storage. Look at that. So we've got thousands and thousands of items stored up over there. I'm just sort of building up a backlog. And that's really, really handy. Should you ever find yourself in a position where you're like, God damn it, man, I gotta take so much stuff with me, you can actually store items in these slots, and the logistics bots will treat these as part of your inventory when it comes to counting. Alright, so let's put down a tower. This tower will request missiles. Okay, let's bring in 500 missiles. I think the irony is, of course, that they're going to fly past the fog to do this, but oh well. Oh yes, I also now do make the blue belts. That was done with the mall upgrade. It's really straightforward. You just take a green belt and you slap one of those blue rings on it with some graphene. Bang, you've got yourself a blue belt. Pretty standard. Okay, we're using missiles. And the space threat is rapidly increasing. Oh boy. There was someone in the comments saying that using missiles does not increase your space threat. That's not necessarily... I don't think that's true. I think it does increase it. I think it just depends on what you shoot. It depends on how quickly it increases it. If you attack the relay, which is the space station above the planet over there. If you attack that thing, then you will definitely start aggroing the major fog. Just something to be aware of. Alright, so now we've got a bunch of missiles lined up. What do we do with them? Well, we grab those signal towers we prepared earlier, and we slap them down a little closer, and you'll see that they extend the missile's range. Just like that. I think we're clearing the fog out right now. Okay, cool. So we've cleared out a big chunk of it. Not all of it, but a big chunk of it. I think it looks like we've actually exposed the core as well. Let's build this forward. And the fog is cleared. It's that quick. All that violence, all that time, and we've gotten ourselves back. Okay, so now down there in the pits of hell, that is our power source here. We can actually steal some juice from it. I'm going to pick these up because they do draw a megawatt. Don't click that button. If you click that button, you will fill it in and the relay will bugger off back to the hive. It'll just sort of go chill in orbit with all the other ones. What we want to do is go and grab a singular geothermal generator because I want to steal the juice from it. Okay, so now we can put this in the hole and you can see we're getting 310% power. It's not incredible, but I mean, hey, that's a free... What are we going to get up to here? 16 megawatts? 17 megawatts? With my power grid looking the way it does, I am not saying no. And we can even get back these oil wells. That's been a long time coming. Look at that, 17.7 megawatts for free. And all it took was like a billion coal in missiles. So now what has happened is that the relay has buggered off. As you can see, it has flown away. It has gone back to the hive. Unfortunately, I missed it leaving. That was my bad. Sorry, I didn't get that on camera. We'll get the next one. But we have now taken control of this. They will occasionally come back and try and take over this thing, so it's going to be worth our time to just leave a signal tower chilling right next to it. Unfortunately, it does pull a megawatt at idle consumption. That is a little sucky, but, you know, c'est la vie, right? Okay, that'll keep the missiles ready. Now, there's two ways we can approach planetary defense, right? We can have a bunch of missiles in a cluster, sort of like all piled up over here, and then we could have a bunch of signal towers all over the planet that distribute the defense equally, or we can phone it in and just be like, you know what, is good enough for now, and just take out the fog as they pitch up. We just wipe them out in space. But I do kind of want to farm them in some places too, so I gotta strike a balance somehow. I gotta strike a balance. But yes, it is official. We are flat out of processes, which is no bueno. So instead of trying to fix all that, I am going to just shortcut the problem, and we're going to go steal silicon from somewhere else. So let's go ahead and grab up some of our materials. We are going to go Interplanetary now and set up some demands. So I'm going to treat this planet as being a import hub, right? We're not going to worry too much about exports, except of refined materials. We're going to be bringing in a lot of stuff, though. I want to be bringing in ores and ingots in fairly large quantities, so let's go ahead and put down some of our towers here. So this is an interplanetary logistics tower. It takes drones, just like the other ones, and it takes these guys, interstellar logistics vessels. Now, where do I get those? Well, it's simple, sir. I will take them from the build, which is over somewhere. Oh god, this always happens after a bit. It all kind of blurs together. Hold on, give me a second here. Where are you? Aha, there they are. Got him. Got him. Okay, we have 168 of these lads. There's not as many as I would have liked. It looks like it's being out of processes. That is our primary problem at the moment. That's fine. So we're going to go over here. There we go. We put these in there. And now we got 10 ships that can fly back and forth, as well as some logistics drones. Some things I do want to get. Can we get any more drone carrying capacity? It does not look like we can. No, we need to get into purple science for that, but that's only going to get easier now that we've got these towers. I will get some more upgrades for everybody, though. I think that's a good idea. Give me some stronger structures. You know what? Enhance the planetary shield. Oh, let's look at the planetary shield. I forgot. Planetary shield goes over here. How's that look? So it's got 0%. There we go. So we are slowly but surely initiating the shield. I believe that this has... I don't think that this has a range, right? I think it just is on or is not on. Can I drag these? Not yet. Okay, the ability to drag these developers would be very nice. So I guess we gotta just put those on known hubs. So you could do something like that, and then we'll just see if they link up at all. Okay, so this one's almost ready. I'm really interested to see what this looks like. Show shield contour. I would love to. Okay, so that's showing me the map view. If I click that link, I've never used these before. I don't know if you could tell. Ah, there we go. We have some goop. And to show shield I can turn that off. I got you. Okay, so the shield is raising. The shield is raising. Will this encompass the entire planet? Interesting to see what happens once... Okay, this one's now rising as well. Oh, yeah, no, the bubble's getting bigger. The bubble's getting bigger. Okay, they are all raising the roof. The bubble's getting bigger. it looks like a hat. It's wearing a fez. Oh, it's wearing a fez. That's so goofy. I love it. I love it. I guess we just leave that running and see. I imagine we'll probably have to put these all over the planet. They do such a good job with the stylization in this game. Anyway, sorry, I got very distracted. So, I will be asking this thing to very kindly, please bring me in iron ore, bring me in stone, bring me in copper, bring me in... what else do we want to bring in here? I would want to bring in coal. I'd want to bring in... or whatever else we can, really, right? I guess sulfuric acid for now. So I'd supply it locally, I demand it remotely. That would be the plan. Now, of course, nothing's coming in at the moment, and that's pretty straightforward as to why. Something else we could do here is we could put this over there, and we could export some stuff, right? So what's some stuff that this planet can uniquely make? Well, we can pretty much uniquely make water. So we'll sell water, we will sell crude oil, so we can local demand and remotely supply these items. Coal, pretty abundant over here. We can locally demand and remotely supply it. I think we'll clear that one for that purpose. Titanium and silicon, I think I want to make elsewhere and bring it in here. So we will remotely demand those and locally supply them. Now, this is not the best way to do it. The first planet's always going to be a bit ramshackle. Oh my god, look at the drone swarm. That's a thing of beauty right there. Wow. Wow, look at that. That's just a freaking canopy. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, anyway, what was I doing? Yes, going and getting this set up. So now if we fly over to our titanium planet, which is John Hall. Okay, so we fly over to Johnny Boy over here. We can now go ahead and put the titanium we've got on an export belt. Okay, so in order to get this planet now functional over here on John Hall, we're just going to have to move stuff in to these towers at a rate that is reasonable. So you will be bringing out titanium ingots. You'll be distributing those. And of course, I like to do my import-exports on the equator. I'm doing them on the border, on the poles at the home planet, just because that's where I've got space. But it is a more preferable system to do it on the equator. And you know what? What better place than right over here? So I'd like to place these like this, right? Inside these little tiles. We should be able to place them every few tiles. Kind of like that. And then this one would be on the major meridian, and this one would be on the minor meridian. There we go. Yeah, we can just sort of space them all out like that. Alright, so you are going to export the ores for me. You kind of want to spread these out a little bit if you can help it, because the, the towers get saturated pretty quickly. So if I put this on there, for example, what's the maximum load of the interlogistics vessels? It is 400. So once there's 400 stone, they would move through and take that out of there. There you go. As you can see, the titanium is being shipped in. Put that one in there. I'm going to get the copper moved out of here as well. And look, there we go, there we go. Okay, the first ships are beginning to take off and land. Boom, that one is taken off with a little bit of titanium. That one's going off with some copper. And we can actually see them. Check this out, I love this. We can actually see them flying around in space. How cool is that? There we go, they move back and forth. Alright, so we got our first interstellar logistics transits. Fantastic, and suddenly the planets don't seem so far away. Alright, and there we go. We've managed to plug up most of the stuff from the planet to the network. I wouldn't say it's all of it, but a lot of the valuable resources are now being distributed by the towers back home. We still got quite a bit to do, which I will do off camera in between episodes. It's not particularly riveting to see me do an entire planet at this stage. Man, I cannot wait till we are done with these mining machines. Anyway, you might hear some noise in the background. Sorry about that. Anyway, something else we will have to sort out or decide is whether or not we are going to be farming the fog here. Don't know if that's really going to be the vibe or not. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what your guys' approach to that is. It's not something I've really, thought much about, so I don't have like a concrete structure for how I do it. How we did it back home on the homeworld on Fear is probably the best way to do it that I can think of, because it's easy to expand, using the splitters and the towers. But I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Like how do you typically run your fog farms if you make them? Okay, one thing we want to do is, oh my god, look at the size of that dark fog hive. I begin to fear, so let's head back to it. I want to just make sure that everything is being exported the way we want it to be, and then we will head back to the main bus, because I want to make sure that we're producing some proper fuel rods, and then I think we've done quite a lot for today. Alright, so everything is indeed being imported just the way we want it to be. Okay, that's perfect. No notes there. We are bringing in stone? We are bringing in stone. Okay, cool. That is fine. We could bring in titanium ammo. That is presently not being brought in here, but that's okay. Alright, let's head over here and quickly put down a quick fuel build. I think we're going to pick up these two machines and these two machines, and yeah, this is a bit sad, isn't it? Man, watching the death of a mining field in real time. Okay, let's pick up all of that. Ain't none of that coming in anymore. Yeah, that is extra sad. Alright, but I want to put down one of these really quickly. This is my primary component for this build. It's going to be pretty straightforward. I think this is the first time we've actually built one of these together. So we're going to have a belt going back in. Start it over there for now. That's going to get proliferated, which I will talk about more next time. Proliferation is a really handy feature, but you need quite a bit of power to do it properly, and we just haven't had enough. We now have access to the blue assemblers, so let's use them. I want to pull you back by one. Let's do it over here, and we'll do it over here. We are going to bring in... Okay, what's this going to do? This is going to store and manufacture fuel, so we can stop that goddamn pinging noise. I'll store like 2,000 of this here. We'll give you 8 ships, just so that that's an even number. And then you can have like, oh, I don't know, man. How many ships I got you? You can have like 20 drones. You don't need a full stack for this, and they are expensive at this point again. Then we need hydrogen and we need titanium. So 10,000 hydrogen, 1,000 titanium will be fine. We're going to locally demand this. And I will actually allow remote demanding on this as well. Bring it in from wherever we've got it, right? Then you, sir, will be remotely and locally supplied. Really useful. In fact, you know what? Let's push this up to 3,000 stored. Okay, great. Load of drones can go up. Perfect, and we should see it all moving. Let's give it some juice. And then these drones will go and work as well. Alright, so to make the fuel, we need 10 hydrogen and 1 titanium. It's quite expensive, but it's not that hard to put together. There we go. We just need a lot of I was going to say a lot of titanium. We need a lot of hydrogen very quickly. There we go. And then we just need a little bit of titanium coming out the side. Okay, then I would have this go in there. This can come out here. This can go in there. This can come out here. And then we'll just give them a little bit of an extra inserter because they'll need it. We can have the titanium come in the back. And copy that down. We must cease the pinging, please. Ah, there we go. So suddenly we have 54 megajoules at 200% production capacity available to us, compared to the 9.7 megajoules we had before. And this gives us our first use for hydrogen, right? We do burn titanium in order to make fuel, but honestly, we now have an entire planet dedicated to giving us some. How much of that do we actually have on the planned mining? Let's see here. Collection planned, we have 6 million titanium. and a whole universe out there for us to take more from. So I think it's worth the cost. We can also then go ahead and fill this up, and I'll probably dedicate one of these stacks rather than storing, say, oh, I don't know, what do I want to keep? I probably don't need to keep wireless power towers, right? Because I never use that many. I think instead we'll keep some hydrogen fuel cells in reserve up here. There we go. And I'll set that up so that we get, hold on, I reset this up. So I want to always have, let's say, 120 on me. We'll keep them in there. And then how do we get those through? Well, great question. I'm glad you asked. It's time for Old Faithful. That's right. We're going to put this there. Will this fit on top? It will. Fantastic. Just one quick one of these that goes in there. You get like one tile. Perfect. And then, oh, I just need to get one of these. And suddenly it's being distributed. Perfect. Alright everybody, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and a little bit more Dyson Sphere program. Magic and I will be back shortly. Been having some technical difficulties on the back end. This save keeps getting corrupted. The hard drive it's installed on is failing. It's an NVMe, the M.2 drives, you know? And it's like 4 years old now. It's just reached the end of its life. And so I need to replace that so that we don't lose any footage. So if there's a bit of a lag in upcoming episodes, you know why. For those of you who've been wondering why the upload schedule is so erratic, well, the simple truth is that my editor, Magic, still lives in South Africa. The power schedule is unpredictable and difficult over there. He also just got stung by a wasp as of the time of recording, so he's having a bit of a rough time. I live in South Korea. I work a 10 hours a day job, and then I come home and do this for another 6 hours a day. And at some point, presumably, I sleep and eat and shower. So, please be kind. Remember that we are doing everything we can to bring you as much content as we can, as quickly as we can. We really love doing this, and you guys make it possible, so thank you very much. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations and thank you. That puts you in the top 3% of viewers. Here's another video that YouTube thinks you're going to like, and here is a list of all the patron and channel member names. If you don't see yours on there, you can find a link down in the description where you can sign up and support this content directly. If your name is on there, well, you probably already know that, huh? So, what are you still doing here?